What's going on, guys? T Blake here, and today we're doing another business-oriented video teaching you guys a little bit about something that is related to sneakers. Now, I will eventually do some that are not related to sneakers, but we did a review on the Reebok Pump yesterday, and two people had comments that I've seen other places as well, but specifically what they said is, we're tired of these 80s, 90s throwback retro, releases being the bread and butter for companies. And it really got me thinking on a subject that I wanted to talk about for a while now, which is, which companies are really making the retros of tomorrow, if you will, and how that positioning is helping them get ahead against the competition. So let's define what retros of tomorrow means. Well, we all know what a retro is, or most of us do. So what is a retro of tomorrow? Well, a retro, first, we'll define it as a sneaker that was released in the past, or a model that was released in the past that is now being re-released in the future. Might be in a different colorway, but for all intents and purposes, it's the same technology that was released back in 1985 or whenever it was released, that's now being released in present day. So, is this a good thing? Yes. I mean, there's been a huge boom in retro-related products. I'm almost talking as if it's ending, because this is really what exploded the sneaker culture, really from 2008, and I'd say even up to now, where retro boom was crazy. Everyone wanted retro Jordans, retro this. All these brands hopped on bringing back and reviving their models. New Balance brought back 998s from a long time ago, and this was something that was really profitable for companies. But most people now don't really want the 8th re-release of a Jordan retro. I'm actually ironically holding a Peapod Jordan that they haven't re-released, but you get the point, right? How many times can the same brand drop the same sneaker, in my case, literally? Not to say that this isn't successful for companies. Yes, Nike Jordan releases sell out consistently, not gonna argue that. But we have to remember who's making the releases and the retros for tomorrow. For this reason, I'm going to point to Under Armour and Adidas as brands that are doing these things now and how it's impacted their business. So we're all familiar with the Adidas Ultra Boost. If you aren't, I highly suggest this model. It's really taken the tech world by storm. The Ultra Boost tech has been crazy, and Adidas has used it to not only revive and update some of their past models, much like Nike has done, but they've also used it to kind of pioneer a way for new models. In the meantime, we see a lot of energy products coming from Nike, such as the Sock Dart, where this is a sneaker that released way back in early 2000s, maybe a little bit ahead of its time, which is now really getting its stride right around now. The point is, though, one of the brands is doing something that's very similar, while the other one is pioneering. Now, obviously, Nike's pioneering in other areas, but consumer perception seems to be, at least within the sneakerhead niche, that Adidas is making leaps and bounds forward with Nike in terms of tech, whereas Nike's latest tech installments, including stuff like a full sock upper, is kind of being clowned on and not really having good adoption rate. You might be saying, well, Tyler, you're talking to the sneakerhead market, but let's look at it at a different brand's perspective level. So Nike SB tried to do a really tech-focused approach to the Hyperfeel and all these other models, as opposed to getting away from their core audience with the Nike SB Dunks, and sales have been extremely lackluster. So the consumer perception for who they're hitting with these really high-end tech things, both the price point and the practicality of lacing them up for your sport, has kind of been lost, and these are what brands like Under Armour and Adidas are jumping on with their own new, more approachable technologies to gain consumers. So what does this mean for the long term? Well, Nike has a ton of money, as does Adidas, as does Under Armour, and they're going to continue to have ad spend to try to push their technologies. Who do I think has the best edge right now? Honestly, I really do feel Adidas does. Under Armour does have some lifestyle models coming up with Curry, but I don't think it'll be enough to really push the envelope as much as Adidas has done with the Ultra Boost model. Now, at the end of the day, numbers don't lie. It's very clear who sits first, second, and third. But this is something to keep in mind, as I'm sure the people in Adidas boardrooms and Under Armour boardrooms and Nike boardrooms are sitting thinking about how they can innovate and truly create the retros for tomorrow, because this is what's going to be selling down the line in 20 years. Will people be still buying Jordans? It's hard to say, but it's kind of crazy to think if people will be lining up down the road for a re-release of an Adidas Ultra Boost. So something to think about. Let me know what you guys think. Is there any one company that's really making what you feel are the retros for tomorrow? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, I still have some things for sale as I am transitioning, getting ready to move. I got a call from the realtor today. Sounds like my offer's been accepted. I'll find out tomorrow, so that's really exciting. In the meantime, if you enjoyed, please hit the thumbs up button for me. T Blake signing out. Peace, guys.